Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. Standing by in the wings, Mr. John Cornett is ready to play some music. Right next to me, I have three people from the Complete Nurture Cannabine, an Appalachian hemp company here from Asheville, North Carolina. Welcome, gentlemen. We have right next to me John Weber. Over there next to Casper is Alex Thompson, and over beyond on the outside, John Weber. Welcome to the show, folks. We will be back in just a few moments with our hemp news segment. We'll be taking your phone calls and with some video clips as well. So stay tuned as we bring on our infamous dancing cannabis leaves.
I feel the force.
Our first story tonight is from Helena, Montana. Montana Governor Steve Bullock has signed legislation, Montana Senate Bill 333, establishing new regulations for the state's medical cannabis program and imposing the first ever taxes on gross cannabis sales. The new law, which takes effect on July 1st, imposes a 4% tax on the gross sales of medical marijuana paid by cannabis providers. The tax drops to 2% after June 30th of 2018. Taxes will be earmarked for the newly created medical marijuana state revenue account. Other provisions in the law establish regulatory oversight for licensed providers, manufacturers, dispensaries, and testing labs. Montana voters in November approved an initiative expanding the state's 2004 law in a manner that for the first time allows for the licensed production and dispensing of medical cannabis. Our next story tonight is from Carson City, Nevada. Nevada Governor Brian Sandoval has signed Legislative Assembly Bill 135, amending the state's traffic safety law so that per se offense for a driver to operate a motor vehicle with trace levels of carboxy-THC in his or her urine. Carboxy-THC is a non-psychoactive metabolite of THC that may be present in urine for weeks or months after past cannabis use. The new law takes effect on July 1st, 2017. It keeps in place per se thresholds for the presence of both THC at levels of 2 nanograms per millimeter of blood and 11-hydroxy-THC at levels of 5 nanograms per milliliter in blood. According to the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, quote, it's inadvisable to try and predict effects based on blood THC concentrations alone. We oppose the imposition of such thresholds. In 2014, the Arizona Supreme Court struck down legislation classifying the presence of the metabolite inactive carboxy-THC in blood or urine as a per se traffic safety violation, finding that the imposition of such an arbitrary standard, quote, leads to absurd results, end quote. Out of Annapolis, Maryland, legislation permitting certain marijuana offenders to petition for expungement of their criminal convictions became law in Maryland on May 27th. We have a similar law here in Oregon, where if you have past marijuana convictions, you can have those expunged from your record through a court process. In Maryland, Republican Governor Larry Hogan took no action on the bill, and Senate Bill 949 became law without his signature. It permits those previously convicted of marijuana possession offenses to petition to have their criminal records expunged. The law takes effect on October 1st, 2017. In 2014, Maryland lawmakers decriminalized offenses involving the possession of up to 10 grams of cannabis. In Pennsylvania, for the first time in over 80 years, researchers and farmers are allowed to cultivate hemp in Pennsylvania with permits, just like we can here in Oregon. I know these folks are doing it in North Carolina. It's happening all over, fortunately. Washington just implemented a new hemp law. Anyway, the new Pennsylvania law allows permit holders to grow up to 5 acres of industrial hemp. After 50 years of growing acres of various crops at his family's farm near Milton, Pennsylvania, Abraham Ziegler turned to industrial hemp to help his farm. Ziegler said, quote, "There are people who are curious and people who need to be educated about what this is that we're growing. So we'll harvest the seed like we do with any other grain. Then what's left of the stalk will be harvested like we would hay and market that somewhere, we're not sure." End quote, Ziegler said. Ziegler continued, quote, "What you're seeing now is the culmination of some 20 years of effort by some of my colleagues in the Pennsylvania hemp industry." End quote. According to Jeff Whaling, president of the Pennsylvania Hemp Industry Council, he says, quote, "I'm hopeful that we can reestablish the industrial hemp crop in Pennsylvania." End quote. The hemp pilot program will be used to create goods for health products and sustainable products, including construction materials. In Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma was pursuing a life in prison sentence against Christopher Lewandowski, a 10-year Marine Corps veteran who was a member of the 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit. Lewandowski was an honorably discharged veteran who served his country for over a decade, and he was facing 10 years to life in prison under Oklahoma's law for growing 6 cannabis plants in 2014 to treat his post-traumatic stress and combat injuries after pharmaceuticals had failed him. Lewandowski said, quote, "It's my right to choose the safest, most effective treatment for my post-traumatic stress and pain. Pills or plant, it's what I fought for. It's what America stands for." End quote. Lewandowski, a combat Marine veteran, served 3 tours overseas in Iraq, Afghanistan, and off the coast of Somalia. But the life of this veteran and his family for the past 3 years has been nothing short of hell, according to him, over a plant. Lewandowski said, quote, "It's been harder on me psychologically and emotionally than even my deployments were. I'm in America, but I'm fighting for my rights, my freedom, over a plant. Cannabis saved my life. It's my medicine. I believe in my soul that I've earned the right to consume a plant in America to choose my medicine." End quote. This case is important for all veterans as well as all cannabis patients. It sets a precedent and can help others convince leaders of the injustice of prosecuting cannabis patients. The laws in Oklahoma are particularly onerous. People go to jail for long periods of time for minor cannabis offenses in Oklahoma. According to Matthew Pappas, a California-based attorney who's been working along Lewandowski's case, he said, quote, "This case demonstrates that we can, by working together, change cannabis policy and perception, even in states that continue to prosecute patients and cling tight to unjust, outdated laws. Our efforts to keep Chris out of jail were successful because so many people came together effectively and on his behalf." End quote. So our next story tonight is out of South America, from the country of Uruguay. Uruguay has never criminalized the personal possession of drugs, and a 1974 law allowed judges to determine whether a given case of possession was personal or commercial. In August 2014, Uruguay legalized the formation of growing clubs, a state-controlled marijuana dispensary system, and created a cannabis regulatory institute. A new law makes the South American country the first in the world to sell the herb over the counter. There was a gray area in the law where consumption was legal but cultivation was not, so every time a marijuana grower was taken prisoner, it was reinforcing the message that the only place to obtain access to legal cannabis was on the illegal market. But that has changed, and they now allow people actually to consume cannabis in public locations even. Our next story tonight is from London in the United Kingdom. The administration of whole plant cannabis extracts is associated with improvements in cognitive and behavior in subjects with attention deficit disorder, or ADHD, according to clinical trial data published online in the journal European Neuropsychopharmacology. British scientists conducted a randomized placebo-controlled trial evaluating the efficacy of cannabis extracts in 30 adults with ADHD. The treatment was associated with nominally significant improvements in hyperactivity, impulsivity, and a trend for improvement in inattention. There were further indications for improvements in activity and cognitive performance and emotional lability. The investigators concluded, quote, "ADHD may represent a subgroup of individuals that gain cognitive enhancement and reduction of ADHD symptoms from the use of cannabinoids. These findings provide preliminary evidence that experimental design for the self-medication hypothesis of cannabis use in ADHD and support the need for further research into the effects of cannabinoids on ADHD symptoms and impairment. This study, Cannabinoids in Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, a randomized controlled trial, appears in the European Neuropsychopharmacology magazine. Our last story tonight is from Germany. Scientists have conducted over 140 controlled clinical trials into cannabis since 1975, assessing the safety and efficacy of either whole plant cannabis or specific cannabinoids, according to a literature review published in the journal Critical Reviews in Plant Sciences. A pair of German researchers identified 140 clinical trials involving an estimated 8,000 participants. Of these, the largest body of literature focuses on the use of cannabis or cannabinoids for the treatment of chronic or neuropathic pain. The authors identified 35 controlled studies involving 2,046 subjects assessing the use of marijuana or cannabinoids in pain management. In January, the National Academy of Sciences acknowledged that, quote, conclusive or substantial evidence exists for cannabis's efficacy in patients suffering from chronic pain. Cannabinoids have also been well studied as antiemetic agents to stop nausea and as appetite stimulants. Researchers identified 43 trials evaluating marijuana or its components for these purposes, involving a total of 2,498 patients. They identified an additional 14 trials examining the role of cannabis or cannabis-derived extracts for the treatment of multiple sclerosis. The researchers also identified several additional trials evaluating the use of cannabinoids and cannabis for a number of other diseases, including Crohn's disease, Tourette's syndrome, Parkinson's disease, glaucoma, and epilepsy. A 2014 study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association reported that pharmaceutical drugs typically gain FDA approval on the basis of 1 or 2 pivotal clinical trials. We've had 140 here on cannabis. This study, Medicinal Uses of Marijuana and Cannabinoids, appears in Critical Reviews of Plant Sciences. That's the end of our hemp news segment for tonight. And Mr. John Cornett. Hey, John.
How you doing?
I'm good. All right, thank you, John. Old Beatles song. Love that one.
Is there any other kind of song by the Beatles that's not? Is there a new one?
No.
Ah,
They've got a new radio on Sirius XM, but I can't
do.
advertise that.
jeepers.
Welcome to the show, folks. I've got a few guests here tonight. This is John Weber, and you are the founder of Complete Nurture.
Yes, sir.
Tell me what that is.
Complete Nurture is hemp seed oil and cannabinoid profile that we put inside skin and body cosmetic products. And
what kind of products?
Well, we've got soap, deodorant, face cream, recovery salve, a body butter, stuff like that, mainly focused at pain and inflammation and being able to provide cannabinoids for the endocannabinoid system since it relies mostly in the skin, you know.
So you two work with him?
Yeah, so I guess my best position would be COO. So
you also work with Complete Nurture
yes,
there?
correct.
And your folks are in Asheville, North Carolina.
Correct. That's where we're founded out of. Yeah.
And so and you're Alex Thompson?
Yes, sir.
And you're the CEO.
Yeah, it's kind of keeping everything together, the systems that are going to allow us to bring this out in an effective way, and creating a lot of the co-creation between other companies and other people that are attempting to bring this out to the masses right now. So yeah.
Do you have any of your products here tonight?
We did not expect to come on the show, no, but we do have some of our products, just not here with us.
So what brings you to Portland, Oregon?
We came for a hemp expo tomorrow.
Oh, so you're
to meet
here
some
for
of
the Portland Hemp Fest Expo.
Yes, we'd like to open up a location out here. We're cultivating hemp for the industrial purposes, the agricultural and industrial, the over 40,000 uses for certain products and stuff, value-added products, and as well as the oils for our skin and body. So we're big into awareness and holistic consciousness.
And you have a coffee product, Cannabis?
Cannabis, yes.
And so tell me about that.
It's coffee. It's a white coffee, and it's got
White
CBD
coffee.
in it. Yeah. So it's a
I'm
coffee
not familiar
that's
with white coffee. Most of mine is black. If I put some cream in it, it gets whiter. But
the burnt bean effect. Coffee is it's very acidic.
I take some green coffee beans occasionally as a supplement.
It's close to
It's
that.
good for you. Green coffee. It's mostly they tout the chlorogenic acid, which is in the white coffee. It's not in the roasted coffee because
It's kind of like the white and green tea, huh? It's got benefits that are similar to that. Then you're saying
it's 30% more caffeine. It's alkalizing. There's vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and enzymes. So it's very beneficial for the body.
How does it taste?
It tastes really good. It's like a cross between a coffee and a tea. So and it's got the CBD or cannabinoid profile in it. So
coffee's
really
already got a lot of caffeine. I mean, more than tea. So it has 30% more than
30%
dark
more.
coffee.
But even our roasters that have been roasting it for over 20 years are like, it's clear, we're focused, there's no jitters, and there's no crash because it's a more pure form of caffeine, hasn't been denatured.
So it's roasted. I think Casper's roasted tonight. I roasted just before the show. He always does, though.
Oh yeah.
So you've also got a company, Appalachian Hemp Company.
That's correct.
Is that separate from Complete Nurture?
We're working to have
So you got
the
all
whole
these different
products
companies. And
We
you're
do.
going to
We've got a
represent
few.
both of those at this expo center tomorrow?
In a limited capacity, we're going to be looking for some people to synergize with and open up an office out here as well.
Do you have a booth there? Will people
We
be
will
able to see
be
you?
sharing a booth, and we'll have a full spectrum USDA organic tincture that we get from Kentucky, as well as some of our strategic partners in Colorado. So it's really good, really good raw extract CO2.
Well, we have people who are out there viewing our television show on the internet and on cable here in Oregon. And if anyone out there has a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us. 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. So did you guys fly out here from North Carolina, or did you drive? You flew, okay. So I went to high school in North Carolina. I lived there from 75 to about 79. Went back a little bit in 1980.
What part?
Huh?
What part?
Right by the Blue Ridge Parkway. I went to AC Reynolds High School.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Way back when, in the 70s, when Jimmy Carter was president. And so before you guys were born, probably, right? So how did you become interested in hemp? What drew you to hemp in particular?
I went to school to be a health director, and I was serving a system I didn't necessarily believe in. Like, for instance, pharmaceutical means witchcraft and sorcery in Latin. It's all about disease maintenance and symptoms management. There's not a lot of focus on prevention or cures.
A friend of mine, the first medical marijuana doctor, called typical pharmacology the monomolecular mercantile madness. You can use that. Your mileage may vary. His name was Todd McCurria. He was wrote the first book on medical marijuana in several generations back in the 70s. But he passed away back about 10 years ago.
God bless him.
But basically, cannabis does the things that a lot of synthetic pharmaceuticals, monomolecular medicines do, and helps people in a lot of different ways. So if someone's interested in your product, how would they find out about it?
They could they can look at our website or come by and talk to us tomorrow and check out a couple
What's
of the
your
products
website?
that we'll have. CompleteNurture.com as well as Cannabine.coffee. We're changing to Cannabine.com next week, but Cannabine.coffee will have a lot of the information on it that people will need to access the coffee anyway. And Complete Nurture will be up in a couple weeks. It's something that we just literally did last few months, and it's under construction still.
Your products that you make, who tests them?
We don't have them tested, but all of our products are handled via an ethical supply chain, and the oils and so forth are tested so they come with a certificate of analysis, and we follow the B Corp standards. So therefore, everything through beginning to end is all ethical. We focus on socially, ethically, environmentally responsible, conscious company initiatives. So we're very conscious of the way we conduct business.
But you say your creams are help with medications and help with pains and help with
Yes.
So is that just a claim that it works for you? So you wake up and put it on the label and go ta-da, or where does that come from?
There's about 40 years of research with CBD and as a neuroprotectant, as well as things like turmeric and black pepper and stuff. So basically, we have formulators that look at our
Do you have turmeric
products
and things in your
yeah, like
preparations?
the recovery salve does have black pepper and turmeric and cypress and peppermint and different things that are really.
And so people can find out more about these products at CompleteNurture.com.
CompleteNurture.com. Yes.
Okay. We have a phone call that's standing by here. Let's see if we can bring that phone call in the studio. Welcome to the show, caller.
Well, hey, Paul, how are you tonight?
Hey, I'm hanging in here. How are you?
Good. Paul, this is Rick. I used some of that donated cannabis that you gave me to make some RSO for the first time. And for a cancer patient friend of mine, and it came out really well. It was scary because it was all so clear looking. I didn't think there was anything in there.
It was very strong, wasn't it?
I used the recipe that Rick Simpson put online on YouTube. And when it all boiled down, I ended up with about 12.5 grams out of my first run. And it worked really, really well. I took some this morning.
Yep, it can be pretty strong. You'll be able to sleep well tonight, that's for sure. What are you using the
slept most
RSO
of the
for,
day.
Rick? I can't quite remember. Hello?
Pardon me?
What's your condition that you're using the Rick Simpson oil or RSO for?
Well, the patient, I just took one dose to test it out.
I see.
But the patient has cancer and is going through chemotherapy.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And I have enough
friend's
more
mother.
product to make 2 or 3 more runs.
Good. All right. Well, I'm glad it's helping. That's what we're
Paul,
trying to do.
I just want to let everybody know that I'm not the first person. I'm probably the 1,000th person that you've done this for, and you get nothing for it, and you're going through so many troubles. I'd sure like everybody to be able to call in and help you out with your problems a little bit with all the legal stuff you're going through with those a-holes in Canada.
I was just in court this morning at 8:30, actually, wearing this very outfit here, but and I've got to be back in court on Monday and back in there. And if you want to find out more information about this hostile takeover of our medical cannabis business by a group, I started Empower Healthcare, and they a group of Canadians funded by an Israeli petrochemical company, Adira Energy, that's A-D-I-R-A Energy, came in and has completely stolen our business and lied about it and launched $1 million court battle. And so for more information, give us a call at that number there on your screen. It's 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. They really want to just sell our medical records. They've already moved them to Canada, outside of U.S. law jurisdiction, and we're in the midst of an epic court battle. For more information, give us a call at 503-235-4606. Certainly don't go visit Empower Healthcare, the clinic I started on 18th Avenue. It has been taken over in a hostile takeover. These people lie and say that they bought it. Well, they didn't buy it at all. They stole it in a legal maneuver without paying a penny. In fact, I even paid them $5,000 a month to help me take my company public, only to have the company stolen in a bizarre corporate hostile takeover. So again, for more information, go to 503-235-4606, and we can help you find doctors all across the country as well. So give us a call. Thanks for asking there, Rick. If you have anything else you want to say?
No, I just want to thank you and Casper for all you do every week. You're there every week, rain in or rain out. Thank you a lot.
You're welcome. If you have a question or comment for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. We have a video from England we're going to play a little excerpt from. This is the magic weed history of marijuana. And is that video ready to roll, gentlemen? Yes. Okay, we'll be back in just a moment right after this video clip.
Cannabis sativa is one of the most ancient plants cultivated by mankind. Hemp processing was already developed in China 8,000 years before Christ was born. Hemp was first harvested for its seeds, a rich source of amino acids used for food. Then it was discovered that by breaking the stalks, they could use the fibers to make paper, as well as fishing nets and up to 5,000 hemp-related products, including, of course, textiles. The ancient Chinese called their country the land of hemp and mulberry. Mulberry leaves were used to feed silkworms, from which was produced the precious silk that only the rich and powerful could afford. Everyone else wore hemp clothing. Hemp is called ma by the Chinese, literally meaning plant with two forms, male and female. Hemp was also the first crop to be grown for use in war. The Chinese had originally used bamboo to make bowstrings. Then they discovered that the hemp fiber was stronger and lasted longer. Imperial decrees ordered that certain areas of the land would be exclusively used to grow hemp. An ancient legend says that hemp paper was discovered by Sai Lun, a scribe and eunuch of the imperial court. To publicize his discovery, Sai Lun pretended to die. He ordered that hemp paper should be burnt around his coffin. Then he arranged his own apparent resurrection and attributed it to the properties of his new invention. Ever since, hemp has been an integral part of the Chinese funeral ceremony known as Wu Fu, or the 5 levels of mourning. This code lays down, among other things, that the family wear different hemp clothes corresponding to their relation with the deceased. The Chinese jealously kept the secret of papermaking for centuries. It wasn't until the 5th century that this knowledge was passed on to other countries, finally appearing in Europe in the 8th century.
The word cannabis comes from the Babylonian canna, meaning cane or stalk, bis meaning twice, with 2 forms or sexes, cannabis. Interestingly, it has the same meaning in Chinese. The word ma is a word from a completely different culture, yet it means exactly the same. Ma means the plant from which we take the fibers and which has 2 sexes. For good hemp, you have to look for rich, strong fibers, and these attributes are most marked in the male plant. The female plant, on the other hand, is a plant used in smoking, because all the psychoactive substances concentrate there. It is a plant with 2 sexes, 2 attributes. This is something completely fundamental.
Cannabis has been used medically since the year 2800 BC, when Emperor Shen Nung founded the science of Chinese medicine. Wounds sustained in battle were bandaged in cannabis leaves. Today, doctors across the whole world are asking for the right to use cannabis as a treatment for pain, especially for cancer and AIDS.
I'm a cannabis user. I've been using cannabis since I was approximately 9 years old. I've had cancer 10 times. I first occurred in my...
Cancer 10
Todd.
times.
Yeah. Whoa, feedback.
Jeepers.
So, I hate it when that happens.
Well, you know, we don't pay the help, so we get what we pay for.
I know,
right?
it's all volunteer.
Yeah.
But we are live on Facebook right now. If you're out there watching from anywhere in the world, you can call in and ask us a question at 503-288-4442. That's 503-288-4442. So, Alex, John, Michael, you guys decided to set up a B corporation. I don't know if many of our viewers know about different classes of corporations. I know there's an S corporation, gives people a benefit personally, especially if they're losing money, that might help them. C corporation is your standard corporation, but a B corporation is a new corporate form. Tell me about that.
Yeah, B Corporation essentially holds the same ethical standards as a nonprofit in that we are being socially responsible, making sure that our impact on the environment is as minimal as we can possibly make it. And while still holding to those ethical standards, we do generate a profit, so it allows us to have more impact in some of the projects and nonprofits that we are aligning with. So yeah, it is fairly new, about 7 years old that this form of corporations has been around. And is spreading quickly. There's a few major companies that are part of it that people would know, but we are hoping to bring that into the cannabis industry as well. And so it allows us to do more by having this status, the B Corp status. Yeah.
I see. So you're set up as a Nevada corporation, you said?
Yeah, Complete Nurture is, we're working on, it's about aligning people, information, and resources, and more of a community collaborative where people are involved to keep things locally, engage the community, and keep the flow of money, where it should be domestic, so to speak. So.
Okay, and people can find out more at CompleteNurture.com.
Complete Nurture is under construction. It'll be ready in about a week from now. Cannabine.coffee is up, and there is information as far as how to contact us. We would love to take maybe people's emails if anybody was interested, and send them information and progress and so forth.
So what was it that prompted you to come out here for the Portland Hemp Expo?
We're really interested in expanding. We just got going in Asheville, and we're looking at both San Francisco and Portland, as well as our New York, where our manufacturing and drop shipping mostly takes place. And we also have some co-packers in Oregon that handle some things for us. So the synergy is really at the four corners, and we're working on the ethical trade initiatives and so forth. So we want to make sure that everything is in alignment. And coming out here, we really just came for the expo and to meet some of the vendors
and some of the good weed, right? Admit it. Yeah, the good.
I had an outer body experience yesterday.
I think. The only reason why I moved here,
so Casper,
I had TV in Indiana. I didn't have this good herb in Indiana. Thank you very much.
How long have you been here in Oregon now?
Almost 7 years now. Jeepers. And in drug years, that's like 27 years. Drug years.
Okay. So tell people about Time for Hemp.
Time for Hemp is a great little broadcasting network that you need to go to and share with your friends. You can find us on iHeartRadio, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes, anywhere there is sound found on the internet. We are around making sound. We have about 12 different hosts on the network making a lot of noise about the need to end cannabis prohibition. We have lots of great guests on all those shows. We're also starting to broadcast now live on Facebook and YouTube. And of course, we're on Roku TV for those of you who sidestep paying for cable. And we ask that you make it a point to check out our newsletter each month. Lots of free cartoons to visit when you get there and check it out. So timeforhemp.com. And if you want to, you can also get a free vaporizer. There's a chance there to enter your name to get a free vaporizer every month, so you can make that happen. Lots of free MP3s to download.
Free.
Free podcasts, free music, free everything. Just make it a point to go to Time for Hemp and bring your free herb with you and tell your free friends to check us out. That's time for hemp. Thank you, Paul, for this shameless
Another
plug.
shameless plug.
Another shameless plug here on the Big Broadcasting Network.
Okay, so we have another caller. Welcome to the show, caller. Oh, I've been misinformed. I hate it when that happens.
It must have been Sergeant Anita Johnson from Homeland Security.
Maybe so.
You know how she is. She likes to tie up our lines. I like it when Sergeant Anita Johnson ties me up.
Okay, all right. So Alex and Michael, how did you come to start working with hemp? What's your story?
Well, I've always had a passion for it, and seeing the dramatic change and shift in perceptions that it can really allow people. So the mind expansion, but also the medicinal qualities. I've seen it heal family members and just good friends of mine. So I got connected with John through his kind of entrepreneur programs and business savvy skills, and so we just kind of been joined together and synergizing with each other's gifts and passions and talents, and so. Networking a lot. We're really good networkers. So when we all came together, it really just kind of opened up a lot of doors. Coming out west is a really great opportunity. The Hemp Expo would be cool. So anybody that wants to come to the booth tomorrow and talk, and we can talk about our products, and we really enjoy.
There'll be a lot of different vendors out there tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be cool just to see who else is there, what else everybody else is doing, because we don't really believe in competition as much as collaboration. So everybody that we run into inspires us to do what we do.
I see. So you should really come out for the big Seattle Hemp Fest that happens in August. That's the granddaddy of them all. So come back if you can. Mm-hmm. So how long are you in the Northwest?
Just till Sunday. Yeah.
Short trip.
Yeah. Just 4 days.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So and then you fly back to Asheville?
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a bunch of work to do.
All right. Well, tell us more.
Well, what I want to know is how it is still that you all figure out what your cold creams are for, and if it's for my elbow or it's for my back. It's because your grandma said, I used this last night, made my knee feel good. You got to put that on the bottle.
Understood. Oh, man. No, we come up with them based on what we're looking to accomplish. Like most people do have some form of challenges per se with things like pain, inflammation, and anxiety. It seems like a lot of people have those challenges nowadays, and CBD is proven to work on those aspects. So when we combine CBD and hemp-related products with other things that work in those specific categories, and you have like a super product, like a hemp tincture with like enhanced minerals and metals, like colloidals like platinum and silver and so forth. So we just have several products that are in alignment with satisfying the body's systems, and because toxicity and deficiency is the root cause of all diseases. And when you eliminate toxicity and deficiency and you supplement that with vitamins, minerals, nutrients, enzymes, and you keep it alkalized body and drink a lot of water, your body has an innate capacity to heal itself. So really we just want to give the body the tools that it needs to heal itself and raise awareness about these things, in all different levels and capacities,
You ever use a Kangen machine for alkalized water?
No.
Check those out.
Sweet.
I've got that. Alkalizes your water. It splits off some acidic water that's good for your plants and your skin. The alkaline water is better to drink.
Nice.
Something to look into. Well, we have another video. This is was produced by Anita Roderick, the late founder of The Body Shop, a company that pioneered some hemp products all around the world. She funded this video about Jack Herer, who wrote a book here in Oregon back in 1985. I helped him write that first edition of The Emperor Wears No Clothes in my house back in 1985. And then Casper worked with him in the early 90s when he first produced it was a television show in the Los Angeles area, Time for Hemp. It's now morphed into a radio network. But this is an excerpt from the documentary about Jack Herer called The Emperor of Hemp. We'll be back in just a second.
It's a crisp spring morning in Manhattan. A perfect day for a march down Broadway. But on this day, for this crowd, the Big Apple isn't exactly rolling out the red carpet.
5, 6, 7, 8, marijuana's not today. 5, 6, 7.
There are delays and confusion about where to gather. Mayor Rudy Giuliani waits until the very last minute to issue the necessary permit. But several thousand show up anyway, and eventually this ragtag army begins the long trek to Battery Park. The marchers have all come together this day for various reasons, but with one common voice: to protest the United States policies on marijuana. The marchers are cordially escorted by a phalanx of New York's finest. Or so it seems. Business as usual in America's war on drugs.
They're not going to get rid of us that easy.
For the last 30 years, a hardcore band of activists has been fighting the war on marijuana in what they see as a struggle for truth and justice. One man among them stands apart. He has been described as a cult folk hero, a boisterous rabble-rouser, a crazy man. His name is often mispronounced. He likes to say it rhymes with terror. But one thing is certain. Because of him, we enter the next millennium with a new knowledge of an ancient plant. A plant whose present-day revival was sparked by this man's 1985 best-selling book. The book revealed the lost history of the hemp plant, and in doing so, lit a fire under a legion of followers the world over. Its title is The Emperor Wears No Clothes. Its author is known as the father of today's burgeoning hemp movement. His name is Jack Herer. At 60 years of age, Jack Herer has been stumping for hemp nearly half his life. It's been a long, strange, and decidedly uphill journey.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, we are here with folks from Asheville, North Carolina, and Complete Nurture. We also have a product, a coffee product called Cannabis, and the Appalachian Hemp Company. Alex, how are you giving back to your local community? I know you're as a B corporation that you've got a mission to do that. You want to describe that?
Absolutely, yeah. That's a big part of our driving force, actually. That's what started us on this kick with it, is not only the benefits, having over 40,000 uses with the hemp products, but what it can bring for medicine. But when we work under the structure of a B corporation, as I said before, it gives us the ethical responsibilities of a nonprofit in that we're giving back to community and reducing our carbon footprint and things of that nature. But the vision that we have is also to create a network to allow some of these smaller companies, whether they're farmers themselves or distribution networks or people doing extractions or any number of different ways in which they're bringing the medicine to the community. We're bringing a network that's allowing them to have access to national exposure, people to handle developing of back offices for them so they can take processes, payment processing for their products, shipping, things like that, making it easier for us to bring the power back to the people's hands and bringing the medicine back into the hands of the community.
So how do you determine who do you assist? I mean, like when I contacted MPP as an example, they have grants for organizations that help disseminate information about cannabis. So I contacted MPP to see if I qualify for one of their grants. I don't, because I also talk about that evil marijuana. All right, so MPP said, oh, no, you don't meet our standards. So what are your standards? Do I have to be like your brother-in-law and $20 in debt to somebody? And you, well, hell, we'll help you out. They'll take care of your bill.
Right, yeah, no, I like that. You know, that's a great question. This brings into what we're bringing in is the certification of ethical standards. So this is bringing in a third party to measure all of your impact. Again, this is with B Corps. There is a requirement to hit a certain percentage of an ethical standard that they put in place, and they come from an outside and measure you to make sure that you are, green with all of your production and manufacturing practices. How are you shipping? All the way up until, are you paperless now? So are you actually reducing your carbon footprint or not? And because of these measurable standards, that allows us to say, well, we want to work with you, but unfortunately your practices are not sustainable, or your practices are not giving back, or reusable packaging, things like that. And so why don't we can help you to work that out, work with this company that's going to provide this for you, or change this part of your process, and we would love to have you as part of this network. So it's again not creating competition, instead it's creating collaboration, more of an ecosystem of corporations.
And do you do that, or was this just so you could just dodge taxes?
Tax avoidance is legal, evasion is not. We just help people avoid. Yeah, no, it's that's just an added perk for it. When we originally were building the system, we were just looking at straight nonprofit work, and then we found B corporations, and we're like, oh, this is a great synergy, because this allows us to have a measurable standard by which we're holding ourselves and other companies that we work with, but it also allows us to generate profit so that we can have a bigger impact and do more. Yeah.
So Alex, again, how can people find your company?
Yeah, we can. There's a site John was saying before, CompleteNurture.com is under construction right now, but should be up in the next couple of days. They can find a lot of information about cannabis and cannabis-related CBD products on, as we said before, cannabean.coffee. Yeah.
Okay, well, I want to thank you guys for coming on. And,
thank you for having us.
Good luck in your trip and your journey here.
Thank you.
I know that we got maybe about 5 or 10 minutes left. If anybody out there has a question or comment, you can call us. That number there on your screen. It's 503-288-4442. Again, it's 503-288-4442. If you want to contact our office, you can call us at 503-235-4606. That's 503-235-4606. So, Casper, tell people how to reach out to you here. We're closing down here, and then John's going to be exiting off.
Well, I also have a question too, but my mom never verified if my dad really was my dad or not. So there's no DNA proof. But other than that, I had no other real questions. But you can find us at timeforhemp.com. That's timeforhemp.com. Lots of programming, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can listen to our programming around the clock. We live stream into iHeart, Tumblr, SoundCloud, iTunes. And remember, anytime you hear me, you'll know that it's time for hemp. Thank you again, Paul, for the shameless plug.
Another one. And that's about it. John's got a couple songs he's ready to play for us here. So we are going to be exiting. We encourage you to tune back in next week. And we'll be back right here, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for watching, and remember, help us restore hemp. Thank you, John. Thank you, guys. right.